All right. Welcome back, everyone. Let me get that fixed. Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of day 4. Not sure what's going to happen tonight. Things have been pretty quiet, but things have been pretty quiet up until about 3-4 o'clock. I think it's about 3 o'clock over there, almost 3. Steve is just taking a break up at Agenda Free, so we are watching him. He's given us the latest news. Every time he finds something that is reliable, he will let us know. And if it's not, he will let us know too that he's not sure. So I like that. He does get a little crazy with his chatters sometimes. Sorry, I'm nervous. That's why I'm swinging back and forth. Sorry. He does get a little crazy with his chatters once in a while, but I just try to ignore that. Anyways, we all need Jesus in our life right now. Just want you to know that he loves each and every one of you guys. He died for our sins. Everyone sins, even people that have done wrong. Everyone sins. Everyone is a sinner. Everyone but Jesus was a sinner. So, we all got to remember that, and remember that what he had done for us. He shed lots of blood for us, so he loves us all. So we just got to accept him into our heart and all that he has done for us. So anyways, that's what this world needs. And I don't know if you want to listen to me blab, but we're just waiting. Let me put back on the volume so we can hear if the alarms go off. So I'm just sitting here waiting for him to come back. This is part 2, like I said. He's taking a food break, so I'm sure a lot of us it's that time for, but think of all the poor people that aren't able to take a food break right now. We got to remember them. So that's what I try, and I can't even talk today. That's what I'm trying to do these past days, is really remember the things that I should be remembering. You know, it's easy to forget. So sorry, I'm just shutting off some stuff so my computer doesn't go crazy. So how has everyone else been? Everyone else been holding in there? I surely hope so. Right now this is Russia and Ukraine, but you just don't know the way everything is going. It could be getting a lot worse, but let's pray that it doesn't. So, and let's pray that Russia's not as powerful as, or Mr. Putin isn't as powerful as he thinks he is. So, you know.
All right, we are back. I ate. I feel better. I think that worked out well. We have some new developments to talk about. So give me one moment here. I'm going to get my live stream on the phone, the Kyiv live stream, just so I can keep an eye on it here.
I hear some slight booming in the background.
Okay. A quick thank you to Amanda Perez, Finisher 3X, Stephen Stewart, Chris H, Michael BKR, One Chill Hill, and also I owe a thank you to Mark Jameson. Thank you. And thanks to all of our moderators who are with us as well. Thank you, moderators. Okay, so I just noticed this. Viewer passed this along. I just missed. I didn't see them post this when they initially posted it. So I wanted to show you this. Let me just make sure they're not. Anything else updated here? Hang on one moment. Hang on one moment. Okay, this is what I want to, let's start with this. We were kind of referring to this a little bit before, but there's a big story in Kyiv Independent. By the way, thank you, Kirk McGuire and Lee Field. Thank you. So you can see here, Kyiv Independent has a new story out, sources Belarus to join Russia's war on Ukraine within hours. And we've been kind of talking about this, but they're reporting it now. Multiple sources say the decision has been made. As soon as February 28th, 5 a.m. local time, which is that would be like an hour. Actually, what is Belarus time? Oh, that's in 12 minutes. That would be in 12 minutes because it's in Minsk, Belarus. It's 4:48 a.m. So I guess they're on Russian, same as Russia, name is Moscow. So reports say as soon as 12 minutes from now, the first transport aircraft is very likely to take off carrying Belarusian paratroopers to be deployed against Ukraine. So we're talking about, here's Belarus, here. Russia has been using Belarus to stage their invasion, but Belarus forces themselves have not gone in. And I just wonder if Belarus troops are going in, is it because Putin thinks like things aren't going enough well militarily, so we need more troops?
Right.
Now, by the way, like,
I'm sorry, I didn't realize
I don't
my mic
believe
was
sanctions.
on.
I assume there's like sanctions coming from Belarus from various countries, but I don't know what the current sanctions are in Belarus, but I would think if Belarus forces go in, like, is there going to be any distinction made in the sanctions between Belarus and Russia at that point? If they actually have boots on the ground? So I'm going to read that article in a second, but hang on, here we go. Look at this. Belarus to join Russia's war on Ukraine within hours. As Russia fails to inflict quick defeat upon Ukraine after 4 days of fierce hostilities, Vladimir Putin is about to pull his Belarusian ally, dictator Alexander Lukashenko, into his war of occupation. You know, something else I wonder too. If Russia starts bringing in the troops of other countries, does that make any U.S. or NATO countries more likely to give additional aid that they wouldn't otherwise give. If they're like, well, you're bringing in other countries' troops now, we'll have to see what happens. It's a really big deal. As Russia fails to inflict quick defeat upon Ukraine after 4 days of fierce hostilities, Vladimir Putin is about to pull his Belarusian ally, dictator Alexander Lukashenko, into his war of occupation. Amid many speculations, multiple sources in Belarus say the decision has been made, and as soon as 9 minutes from now, the first transport aircraft is very likely to take off carrying Belarusian paratroopers to be deployed against Ukraine. It's not clear whether the local time the message is referred to is Belarusian or Ukrainian. 5 a.m. in Minsk is 4 a.m. in Kyiv, so it could be in an hour and 9 minutes or something. Rumors regarding the official Belarusian involvement in the war. Rumors regarding the official Belarusian involvement in the war started circulating today, the fourth day of Russia's all-out war on Ukraine, following a report presented to diplomatic circles by unarmed Belarusian opposition journalists. The message suggested that Belarusian troops might be deployed to the Kyiv or Zhytomyr areas in assistance to Russian invading force. The report couldn't be verified, but there have been other indications of Belarusian military activity. A media campaign was launched, particularly by Belarusian opposition media, to warn off the Belarusian involvement. Oh, I saw this video. As part of this endeavor, former high-ranking Belarusian airborne commander Valery Saakashvili, in a video address, urged all Belarusian paratroopers not to obey unlawful orders that would throw them into a war against a friendly nation. It is known from the Belarusian media that the country's armed forces include 45,000 military personnel and 20,000 civilian employees. In Arestovich's opinion, just 17,000 Belarusian military personnel are of considerable combat efficiency. So their involvement would likely not be that significant for Russia, which has massed at least 150,000 troops. President Zelensky had a phone call with Lukashenko today, according to this report, following which the Ukrainian leader said Lukashenko reassured him of his non-involvement in Russia's war. However, according to former Ukrainian defense minister, in reality, the Belarusian dictator, whose existence highly depends on Putin, had no choice than other than to join him. From the expert's perspective, the Belarusian involvement would be an escalating factor, although it would not have a dramatic escalation effect on a war. In particular, Lukashenko might invade Ukraine's northwestern regions on which Russia is not currently focused. But the Belarusian military has no combat experience at all, said this expert. It really matters, and they are not motivated. They do not really understand what they will be doing in Ukraine. The media campaign to warn Belarusian soldiers off the Ukrainian campaign has just started, and it needs to be continued, said the former Ukrainian defense minister. If, God forbid, Lukashenko gives an order to go in, I hope many in the Belarusian military would refuse to shoot at Ukrainians, he said. Otherwise, this will be a historic tragedy between the two peoples. Wow. That's from Ilya Ponomarenko. One of our viewers says Bello will be cannon fodder, maybe. I was thinking about that myself. Bingy McFly said that. Peggy says Putin sees the weakness in his army, and that's what scares me. Remember, with Belarus is run by a dictator. They had an election in 2020 that From all signs, the dictator lost handily, but he then refused to leave office and violently cracked down on protesters. And he was helped in that by the support from Russia. So Russia's support basically kept him in office and allowed him to steal the election and then crack down on protesters. But basically, it looks like after Russia helped keep him in office, that he felt like now he owes his existence as leader to Russia and will do whatever Russia tells him to do. Wow. Christian Saw says, cannon fodder indeed. A quick thanks, by the way, Walter Beasley. Really appreciate it, Walter Beasley. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And also Max and Unleashed Pokegamer. Unleashed Pokegamer asked about, some of our viewers like Unleashed Pokegamer have asked about talks between, I think there's supposed to be talks coming up between Ukraine and Russia. I have no idea if this will lead to anything. It certainly looks like Russia is gearing up towards continuing this offensive, maybe even in a bigger way. But that's concerning. Well, we'll see. 5 a.m. local time in Belarus is in 3 minutes. 5 a.m. local time Ukraine time is in an hour and 3 minutes. Here's this thing about talks. Ukraine agrees to talks with Russia, but finally fighting still rages. It's from New York Times. The two countries agreed Sunday to sit down for talks without preconditions, but hopes were not high for a peaceful resolution of the conflict. Just to be clear, the conflict is caused by one side, Russia. They're the ones causing the conflict. The President Zelensky made it clear he expected little to come of the negotiations. He says, I don't really believe in the outcome of this meeting, but let them try to make sure that no citizen of Ukraine has any doubt that I, as president, will have not tried to stop the war. And in case you missed it today, Russian leader Putin, Russian authoritarian leader Putin, trying to go to the homepage, said he put his nuclear forces on the alert. President Putin declared Sunday he was putting his nuclear forces into special combat readiness, a heightened alert status reminiscent of some of the most dangerous moments of the Cold War. Putin's outburst, said the New York Times, highlighted anew the question coursing through the American intelligence community about the state of mind of the Russian leader, a man previously described as pragmatic, calculating, and cunning. Pragmatic is practical. It's when you're kind of realistic about the world and you take actions not based on... You basically adjust your behavior on how the world is to benefit yourself. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. So you're not like deciding you don't always stick to the same way of doing things just because that's the way to be. You just adjust in a sensible way what you're doing based on how the world is that day, basically. So they're saying that Putin used to be known for doing that, but now it seems like he has these really firm ideas, and they're not really rooted about what he wants to do, and it's not really rooted. It doesn't seem like he's really properly calculating the benefits and the costs of everything, and his views seem his proposals seem very extreme, and his actions seem extreme. The former director of national intelligence, James R. Clapper, said in public today, what some officials have been saying in private since the Russian leader began accusing Ukraine of genocide and claiming it was developing nuclear weapons of its own. I personally think he's unhinged. The former director of national intelligence, James R. Clapper, said, I personally think President Putin is unhinged. That's also what former Ambassador Michael McFaul says. He's unhinged. I worry about his acuity and balance. Acuity is like mental sharpness. Others wonder if Mr. Putin wants to create that impression. And what made the latest nuclear outburst notable was that it was staged for television. As Mr. Putin told his generals that he was acting because of the West's, quote, aggressive comments about Ukraine, Russia's most senior military officer, Valery Gerasimov, sat stone-faced as Mr. Putin issued his directive. Guys, by the way, I have a live stream on. I'm not hearing a big boom. I'm listening to a live stream. What stream are you watching? What stream are you watching? I'm watching live stream events. I have it
One
live.
you're obviously
I'm not
not.
hearing anything. Everybody's yelling in the chat about big explosions. I'm listening to it. There might have been some. I'm not saying there aren't, but it's like, I'll check. I will check. People heard a boom. Okay. Anyways.
A few booms.
Yeah, I'll check. Anyways, in the meeting today, as Mr. Putin told his generals that he was acting because of the West, as he talked about this alert, his most senior military officer sat stone-faced as Mr. Putin issued his directive, leaving some wondering what he was thinking and how he might respond.
Mr. Pooty Poot.
It was bizarre, said Graham T. Allison of Harvard University.
Yeah, 'cause he is bizarre.
And many of the national security staff surrounding Mr.
He's off his rocker.
Putin's citation of aggressive comments as a justification for putting one of the world's largest nuclear arsenals on alert status seemed both disproportionate and puzzling, he said. It makes no sense. Look at this. Professor Allison said the incident today is adding to the worry that Putin's grasp on reality may be loosening. Now the question is how the general will translate Mr. Putin's vaguely worded order for special combat readiness into action. Okay. That's from the New York Times. I am hearing some artillery, it sounds like, on the stream. I just heard like a boom sound, which maybe sounds like artillery. So I just did hear something right now. I did hear something. Seth Jones posted something. He's with CSIS. Look at what he said. He said the Russian army. He's with the. CSIS is a think tank. He says the Russian, who's been doing some good work on this, I think, the Russian army is overextended and in a precarious position if Ukraine becomes a protracted war. Assuming 150,000 Russian soldiers in Ukraine and a population of 44 million, that is a force ratio of 3.4 soldiers per 1,000 people. You can't hold territory with those numbers. The force ratios in successful operations are astronomically higher, such as 89.3 troops per 1,000 inhabitants in Germany, 1945, 17.5 in Bosnia, 1995, 9.8 in East Timor, 90.3 in Kosovo. High numbers of troops and police are critical to establish basic law and order. In fact, the number of Russian soldiers in Ukraine aren't even enough to hold any major cities for long. They will be in serious danger of being picked apart by Ukrainian insurgents. Seth Jones, I believe, used to be in the military. I think. Let's see. Director of International Security Program at CSIS, Center for Strategic and International Studies. No, he was the Director of International Security and Defense Policy Center at the RAND Corporation. Oh, he was in the military. He was Plans Officer and Advisor to Commanding General, U.S. Special Operations Forces. Well, he was working with the military, I guess. See? Not as a soldier, it looks like. Somebody says everything you're reading is from a pro-Ukrainian viewpoint, likely propaganda. No, Russia caused this war. It's all Russia's fault. That's a fact, it's not propaganda. Putin made up reasons completely to invade Ukraine. It's not true that Ukraine was attacking Russians in eastern Ukraine committing genocide. That's a complete lie. Putin made it up. He lies all the time. It's completely made up. The reasons for invading Ukraine were completely made up. That's a fact. That's a fact. So acknowledging when someone lies and it's obvious, then acknowledging that is not taking one side. That's actually that's not being like a troll or something, or it's not being a bot. I'm not a bot, I'm a human being, and any rational human being who's not bot-like in their thinking can see very easily that this is a made up, that Putin's complaints about genocide were just made up, and there was no genocide, and also the stuff he said about nuclear weapons. Ukraine is not trying to get nuclear weapons. That's made up. This is all 100% caused by Russia. This is Putin's war. Putin caused it. He made up reasons to invade. That's a fact. That's not bias. That's not pro-Ukrainian. It's pro-fact. I think when you said I'm reading pro-Ukrainian sources, you meant, oh, you're reading pro-fact sources, not I'm a Putin bot sources, okay? So let's establish that right now. Ridiculous. Bunch of nonsense. Nonsense garbage. No, we don't have to consider both sides when one side is...
See, here he goes. This is the part I was talking about. He goes off. Look at him. He almost looks like Putin. Crazy. Crazy. Yak, 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 yak. Bark. 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 Bark.
Take it to the bot channel with all the other bots and have your bot chat together. But I'm not going to allow that here. Just throwing that garbage around. Oh, you're reading pro-Ukrainian sources. Pro-Ukrainian sources like a think tank. Ridiculous.
You tell him, Steve.
Bunch of garbage. It's the most plain thing in the world. So obvious. So stupid.
Ooh, he gets mad.
Okay, let's move forward.
Please.
This might have been what people. This might have been what people heard on the
I heard
stream
another boom
a little while ago. Phil Stewart says blast herds in Kiev, in Kharkiv, Ukrainian State Service of Special Communications. So we heard a couple of booms. I heard a boom. Sounds like you guys heard a couple on the live stream.
I might put the other screen up. I need to smoke a cigarette after listening to that rant. Woo!
All right, let me check and see if we have any updates here. Yeah, this is the Ukraine State Special Service. They said explosions are heard again in Kiev and Kharkiv. Prior to that, for several hours in the Ukrainian capital was calm. The State Special Service. Rob Lee posted a new video, by the way. Rob Lee says, a Ukrainian vehicle was destroyed where those damaged and abandoned Russian vehicles were left earlier today in Kharkiv. Oops, hang on. One moment. One moment. One moment. One moment. Sorry, folks. I had something else to show you from Rob Lee. Rob Lee posted something interesting. Thank you, Charlotte NC Crime Watch. Yeah, the chat is not a customer support line. Send an email to agendafreetv@gmail.com. Floyd PW, thank you. KDK, peace be with you. RT. Ivan Bui. Chris Shearer. Chris Shearer says, imagine buying into the lies of a dictator. Well, the lies of a dictator who's just clumsy about lying, who's just obviously lying. It's not that hard. I mean, it's just clear. They're not even really trying. Not really trying. Just obvious.
Holy buckets, sometimes these people.
Zishi. Satsi, thank you. Generic username, HHOGANMC. 303IO, Nof, David Roberts, Buffy, and Elia Lassetti, The Great Cornholio, Patty Nielsen, Rita. Buffy Ann, Believe Jesus is Lord. Rosemary Hill. James B. Renato Lorgia. Hang on, I'm a little behind on thank yous. Fabio Fabulous, Trent William Mears, Twitchy McGee Gaming, Ash Effect. Thank you. All right, let me show you what. Rob Lee posted a little while ago. I thought this was interesting. Oh, videos of Kharkiv? Hold on. He says, screenshot from another video reportedly of fighting in Kharkiv. I'm going to check my Telegram channels. The video shows 2 bodies that appear to be Russian soldiers. So I need to go and see. Let me check these Telegram channels. Let's see what they're saying. They have any updates here? Union posted some new videos they say are from Kharkiv. Ukrainian air defense is constantly working shelling of the airport in residential areas of the city. From Union.
Опять, ребята, ебать, ебать. Ебать, ебать, ребята, это пизда.
So again, Union, which is a Ukrainian news site, says that's from Kharkiv tonight. It sounds like maybe multiple rocket launch, then the rockets land around all the same time. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of booms there. They posted this as well. And again, Union says that that's from Kharkiv. One more here from Union. So again, according to Union, that's all. They also say Ukrainian air defense. That's in Kharkiv. They say there's shelling of the airport and residential areas of the city, and that Ukrainian air defense is working. So
Let's hope
they
it
also had
is.
said explosions are heard again in Kyiv and Kharkiv. Remember, Kharkiv is northeastern Belarus, northeastern Ukraine. I'm sorry, northeastern Ukraine. Nature Blast thinks some are outgoing. I do not know. Okay, so that was posted. Okay. Then I want to show you what Rob Lee posted. Right here. So we showed you this before. it was kind of striking. Christopher Miller had posted new Maxar satellite images show a 3.25-mile convoy of Russian ground forces with hundreds of military vehicles northeast of Ivankiv, Ukraine, and moving towards Kyiv, 40 miles away. Contains fuel, logistics, armored vehicles, tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, self-propelled artillery. And we looked at these pictures, and earlier when we looked at these pictures, I was telling you, in the last day or so, the Ukrainian government has released a number of videos, which they say are videos of drone strikes on Russian vehicles in convoys. Ukraine does have these Turkish drones, these TB2 drones, which have done very well in previous battles for different countries. So we were looking at this, and I was saying like, I wonder if that's like, something that's at a risk to the drones if you have if the trucks like this. And so Rob Lee, who's a military analyst, commented on this. He said, if you're wondering whether it's a good idea to have that many vehicles packed together in a single line while Ukraine still has 2 TB2 drones and ground attack aircraft in operation, the answer is no. I'll go back here. I want to see. Somebody said Rubio tweeted. Rubio tweeted. People are saying Rubio tweeted. Marco Rubio tweeted. Marco Rubio tweeted. Marco Rubio says this is the most dangerous moment in 60 years. Putin's facing a humiliating military fiasco, and he has triggered extraordinary consequences on Russia's economy and people that will not be easy to reverse, and his only options to reset this imbalance are catastrophic ones. You have to wonder what he's hearing. You have to wonder what he's hearing. As the vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, I mean, he would get a bunch of intelligence. So he's been warning about Putin a lot in the last day or so. Systec says, how can the drones be that important? You're making no sense at all. I'm making no sense at all. I first said that these drones have been successful on the battlefield. And a number of experts that I have listened to say that they could be important in the conflict. Why does it make no sense at all? Why have you cursed me to have a job where I have to listen to people constantly yell at me and act like they're so smart, and then they say these things that sound crazy? This is like my fate in life, is to be yelled at by people, supposedly because I'm doing something wrong and they're so smart, and then I read what they say and it just doesn't make any sense. How can the drones be that important? You're making no sense at all. I literally said they've done very well on the battlefield, and also if you just did some research, you'll find a lot of experts saying like they could be a big deal in this conflict. So it makes.
Sorry, this guy, he goes off.
Day after day, I mean, I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. It's just day after day of this, of people yelling at you and people outraged at you. And then you listen to them and it's like, what are they saying?
That would suck. That would suck.
It's again and again and again. The person donates too. I just, it's unbelievable.
The person donates too.
So ridiculous. You're making no sense. You're making no sense. Oh, Systec, now Systec said they were kidding. Systec was kidding now. Okay, thanks. Don't do that, Systec. Don't do that, Sistek. Seriously. It's been. I'm really over it. You know, it's not really worth joking about. I appreciate your support, but you know. It's just nonstop. You guys don't see what you guys don't see what creators see. You know, if you're doing a live stream like we're doing here, and you're actually, I really like to see I want to see what you guys have to say. So I'm forced to read the chat, but I mean, there's all this stuff in there. It's just, and then I get tweet messages, and it's different chats, and it's just, you know.
Okay, on
Again
with
and
the
again.
news. Jeepers criminy.
Okay. Anyways, going back to this, it was very interesting that that Rob Lee said, if you're wondering whether it's a good idea to have that many vehicles packed together in a single line while Ukraine still has these TB2 drones and ground attack aircraft in operation, the answer is no. And he also said, I think they are just not taking normal precautions that you should in a war with an aerial threat. And we've seen this. We've seen these videos recently. These drone videos. Apparently of drones hitting these Russian columns, and I showed you some commentary from analysts saying like why are they leaving themselves so exposed to these drone attacks? It's confusing. See, for example, this one, Michael Kaufman. Remarkable video of a TB2 drone striking a Russian Buk unit, which appears to be deploying somewhere. Russian aerospace forces not flying combat air patrols and haven't invested substantially in destroying Ukrainian drones. This unit itself looks unprepared. He's just saying like they're not doing what you'd expect them to do to prevent this stuff from happening.
Цього бука, я так думаю. Чи ні? В сторону.
Може щось упало і пішов подивитися, що. Ось бігає туди-сюди.
Нарешті. Зараз нам салют. Ох, як все по...
So now maybe this 3.25 mile convoy has like air support with them or something. Maybe they've taken precautions that this convoy here didn't. Okay. What's going on with the ruble? Is the ruble trading yet? It is 5:29 a.m. Moscow time. $5:29 Moscow time. CME Group, this says ruble futures down 19%. But Oh, B&O posted again about this? Hold on. They had posted about it before, B&O. Oh, look, B&O ruble continues to drop, now down 41% against the US dollar in early trade. That's from Reuters. That was from 22 minutes ago. Why? I don't know where this is coming from. I'd like to see it for myself. Oh, I got it. I found it. I found it. I found it. I found it. There it is. That's it. Bloomberg. I think, is that it? 117 to, is that the number to dollar? Yes. Previous close 83. Open, it's 117. I think this is it. I think we found it. I think. This says Russian ruble 117, previous close 83. I think this is rubles to dollars. I think when they say up, they mean the number of rubles to dollars is up, which means the value goes down. I'll retweet this anyways. Some people said it's pre-market. I don't know. It's confusing. In early trading. All right, hang on a second here. Here's a post about it. Steve Herman, Ukraine invasion Forex, Michael McDonough. This says minus 28% here, this one. That's from Michael McDonough, but that's 9 minutes ago.
Sorry, guys, I'm still here. Just eating. Looks better in person.
Oops, hold on. I'm just fixing. I'm watching my live stream on the phone. The stream from. Hey, a quick thank you to John Zecker, Peggy Martinez, Wrecking Bull, LNG, Maubala, Zena Williams, thank you, Magic Man, Rick M, Cornobi, the Macaw Lady, Akash Mangru, Taos Chagik, Danny Fury Animal, Cetic. Thank you, Cetic. John Palmahovsky, Dubsy, Rofulcopters, Cornobi, Stevie Beggar, Carbon Forms, Chase Urban, SC, Rita, Jacob Brian, Don Teller, A Werewolf, Dan455, Jill Struthers, Hi-Fi Beef, and really quick, She Plays, Jay Smith, Magic Man. Yeah, somebody mentioned B&O. They posted this tweet about a meeting. B&O posted a tweet. They posted up a tweet about a meeting. It says Biden to host meeting. Biden to host meeting on Ukraine on Monday. with the leaders of NATO, the European Union, the UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Japan, and Romania. Big thanks to our moderators, too. The moderators, they are all volunteers. So give them a shout. Linda Belk is moderating over there on Twitter. Thank you so much, Linda Belk. Thank you to our moderators. Lexa Fulmer is over there on YouTube. Marina is there on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys, for moderating. Really appreciate it. Colligan Crafts is moderating. Kay Lowry Body, Bud Green, Curtis Cardwell, Roxanne Betke. Thanks for the stars, James Brooker, by the way. Thank you, James. And our Twitch moderators. Bastion Girl, Daily Disclosure, Duxor, Idaho Star, Mark and NC, Muse, Papa Bear, and Schultheis. Thank you, moderators. Here's some more about Russian military mistakes. Look at this. Look at this. Obviously, we can only make tentative conclusions so far, but the Russian military is committing some very basic mistakes from the strategic to the tactical levels. Putin also put his military into a very bad situation with unrealistic goals and without giving them much warning. B.A. Friedman, who he's responding to, who's a strategic assessments analyst. He says, I'm going to respectfully disagree with because he's an absolute essential source on this, with Michael Kaufman. He thinks this isn't a good army executing a bad plan. It isn't a good army executing outdated or out of context tactics. It's a bad army. Here's why. Let's see what he has to say. He says, first, this isn't something analysts or intel folks could know before now. You just can't know how an army will perform in a war until it tries. War and only war is the acid test of an army, and Russia's armed forces are failing that test. You can tell it's not a good army executing a bad plan like France in 1939 or a good army executing an outdated concept like Prussia in 1806, because all the things any military force in any situation would have to do being done All the things that any military force in any situation would have to do are being done poorly. It's bad at the basics. The Russian armed forces are failing at what you might call the Boy Scout stuff, getting people in the right place in the right time with the right stuff. Your tactics don't matter if you can't eat. It is definitely executing a bad plan, to be sure. That's true. It's also not executing a good concept for the situation, but it's also just bad at being an army that has to exist and do things. It's bad at things Civil War reenactors have to think about, but it is assumed away. Look at this. It's not a bad plan. It's not a flawed concept. It's stupid. You'd lose people to safety accidents if this was a tailgate party at the municipal lot during a Browns game. In that case, everyone's drunk. It says satellite images. Christopher Coetti. Satellite images show large unit of Russian troops near Kyiv, hundreds of vehicles around 40 miles northwest of the capital. This is like this big multi-mile long procession of vehicles we talked about earlier, like this, going on for miles. We've heard a number of analysts say that that's not something they should be doing. It's right in one sense, he thinks, to say that Russia wouldn't fight NATO this way. They wouldn't. Ukraine might not have the ability to punch this mistake, but NATO does. Against NATO, all these people would be dead in all those vehicles' coffins. It wouldn't be a fight. You hear that? He says that 3 mile long line of cars, the single file line or double file line, just out in the open like that. He says against NATO, all these people would be dead. He says, here's the table of contents for my latest book on operational art. Chapters 7 through 12 are things that all military forces, armies, navies, air forces, or insurgent movements have to manage just to exist and act as a cohesive force. Administration, information, operations, fire support, logistics, command and control. Russia is doing okay, maybe doing okay at command and control. I say that only because there hasn't been any reporting otherwise. Maybe they're not, but that's not as generous as I can be. Unfortunately, and this part is too serious for gifts, Russian shortcomings are probably not going to matter in the long run. They have enough capacity to brute force this thing, even though their remaining troops are the bottom of the barrel guys. Putin does not give a blank about civilian casualties. If he thinks, hang on a second, I'll do it this way. I kind of like to cover up the swear word. B.A. Friedman thinks, Putin does not give a blank about civilian casualties. If he thinks burning Kyiv to the ground will work, or even if it will contribute to keeping his own corrupt ass in power, he'll do it in a second. He does not need to do operational art well to force the issue. But a good army would be better at the basics. It would not be surprised by how difficult it is to win the offense. As T and Tactics says, if you remember on Warbook 6, you should not be surprised by anything that has happened. Putin just thought he was better than it. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the best. The simplest explanation here is that the Russian military is bad. It was a paper tiger and now the paper's on fire. Anyways, that's what he thinks. B.A. Friedman. Who's with Strategy Bridge, an organization focused on the development of people and strategy, national security, military affairs. That's what he thinks. So, it's an interesting thought. I mean, this is not my place to speak because I don't have a military background or that knowledge. But there have been, we keep seeing again and again the Russian military do things, and you look at these military analysts and experts who, this is what they know about, and they're like, we don't understand what's going on. A quick thank you to, real quick, Mark Jameson, hang on. Marilyn Sanford, Bradley Berthold, Kirk Bostrom, very kind of you, Kirk. Thank you, Kirk, and everybody else. Also, Michael Piskel, Pete Zintars. Thank you. Oh, hold on, I gotta delete this. This is garbage. I'll leave it up there. But that comment is garbage. Somebody posted a garbage comment. A bot.
Looks like it's snowing in some places out there. Brr.
And John Crowley, Lee Field, Carl Schneider, Jay Smith. Sheep plays. I mean, we've been talking about this. It's an interesting question. It's just what's going on with the Russian military. And as it's it's an interesting thought that B.A. Friedman has. He thinks the military is bad, but they can still win just because they have these natural advantages, for example, in numbers and capabilities. So he thinks that the Russian military is much worse than people thought, but they can still win against Ukraine. What is this? I don't know what this is. There's an unconfirmed report here. Look at this. This is from this account. What is this account? This is an account a Russian direct TV channel. A Ukrainian TV channel is reporting that a Russian missile hit a residential building in the center of Chernihiv at about 2:45 a.m., they mean, which would be a couple hours ago. The number of injured is currently unknown. Chernihiv. Hang on. I'm going to see if I can find anything else about this. It's Chernihiv. That's going to be in northern Ukraine. Chernihiv. See if any of the TikTok are posting about it. Or I'm looking at the telegrams too. Let's see. Hang on. Nexta has it too. Nexta is reporting the same thing. They're saying 2 lower floors caught fire. Nexta just posted it on Telegram. Unconfirmed report from a Ukrainian TV channel that a Russian missile hit a residential building in Chernihiv. Two hours ago. Again, that's from Direct TV channel. Joe says, how do you know it wasn't a Ukrainian missile? I didn't say it was. I didn't say what it was. If you weren't so focused on being angry at me, you would see I just said unconfirmed report. All I said is what the Ukrainian TV channel says. So maybe next time, before lashing out and making yourself look pretty stupid, actually read what I posted. And then you'll see that what you said is actually responding to something I didn't say. Next time, try reading. Try more reading, less speaking. Rob Lee is also, he's giving some analysis tonight about the Russian military. He says it's clear many soldiers don't know what the goal of this war is, so they don't know how to respond to civilians or what sort of security posture they should take. They have been assigned tasks but don't understand the purpose, which is how you set up a military for failure. Very interesting from Rob Lee. All right, hold on a second here. Check some of your messages. I'm just looking for updates here too. It is almost 5 a.m. Kyiv time, almost 6 a.m. Moscow time. By the way, let's remind ourselves of something as we approach. Here, look, Status 6. Status 6 posted the same thing I did. They said, now I don't know what happened there. They say munitions struck a residential building in the center of Chernihiv. The building is on fire. This might be a different video. I don't know if this is the same video or different. Might be the same one I posted. They saw the same thing I did. I hope people are okay there. Another outlet is posting this as well, guys. Another Ukrainian outlet is posting is reporting this. They're saying, hold on. In Chernihiv, a rocket hit a residential building. A fire broke out. 2 lower floors are on fire. Again, that's all I can tell you right now. Is a couple of outlets are reporting that. The site Union, Ukrainian site, is also reporting a rocket hit a residential building in the center of Chernihiv. The lower floors caught fire twice. The number of injured is unknown. Again, I can't confirm. Oh, guys, look at this. Guys, Elint News found that the Washington Post is reporting the same thing the Kyiv Independent is. Kyiv Independent sources Belarus to join Russia's war on Ukraine within hours. So Kyiv Independent says that their sources say that Belarusian paratroopers, as soon as 6 minutes from now, basically, a plane will take off carrying Belarusian paratroopers to be deployed against Ukraine. And the Washington Post is Belarus is preparing to send soldiers into Ukraine in support of the Russian invasion and a deployment that could begin as soon as Monday, a U.S. administration official said Sunday night. So, from Washington Post, Elint News posted this. So, same story. Belarus preparing to join Russian invasion in Ukraine. Look at this. So they're reporting the same thing that Kyiv Independent is reporting. There's the dictator Lukashenko. Belarus is preparing to send soldiers into Ukraine in support of the Russian invasion in a deployment that could begin as soon as Monday, which is today. It's now Monday in Russia and Belarus. It's very clear Minsk is now an extension. A U.S. administration official said Sunday night. It's very clear Minsk is now an extension of the Kremlin, said the official. Belarusian President Lukashenko is a close ally of Russian President Putin. Earlier Sunday, Ukrainian President Zelensky and said Ukraine and Russia will conduct the first diplomatic talks since the invasion at the Ukrainian border with Belarus. So 2 reports saying that now. And again, if they actually put troops in, I'm assuming that there were going to be more sanctions coming Belarus's way. But if they put troops in, I would think that they might be subject to basically the same level of sanctions that Russia would. You could argue they should be anyway, because they're letting Russia use their country as a dropping off point. But that, practically speaking, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But if they actually use troops, that could be a whole different thing. All right, hang on one moment here. One moment, please. So, in about 4 minutes, it's going to be, according to the Kyiv Independent, they said at 5 a.m. local time this might happen. 5 a.m. local time Belarus was like almost an hour ago. 5 a.m. local time Ukraine is in 4 minutes. All right, we're gonna talk more about stuff, but that's certainly some significant news if it happens. That would be the first other country to have, troops openly involved. Really quick, I am just going to take a 2-minute break. I'm coming right back. We'll continue in 2 minutes.
And I'm gonna do the same.
Okay, we are back. Somebody just asked about the live cameras in the chat. I've been watching one from, I think, Live Cam Events. Has one with sound on it. Live, is this the one? Live Stream Events. That's the one I have now on my phone. Keeping an eye on that one. Big explosion on Kyiv camera? Somebody said there was a big explosion on a Kyiv camera. I didn't see it. must have just missed it. Rich said there was EU sanctions against Belarus today. I didn't even see it. Oh, here's something. EU tightens Russian sanctions. What is this, Belarus or Russia? The EU will tighten sanctions on Russia and target Russian ally Belarus with measures, it says. This came out today. Reuters. The EU will impose a ban on imports of products from mineral fuels to tobacco, wood and timber, cement, iron, and steel. Thank you for letting me know, Rich Stancliffe. And if Belarus starts using troops, I think the sanctions could be more. Going on. Thank you, Rich Stancliffe, J. Smith Ludaki, Moncusi, Eric Arndt, John Christian Age, Ruben Davila, Parker Corso, Cornobi Scott Gifford. Hold on. That person's not here. That person's not going to be here for long. All right, let's hang on. And also, I owe a thank you to Brett Baker and Simeon Peebler. Thank you, Simeon Peebler. I very much appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you. Okay. It is 5:02 a.m.
Did I miss anything? He said 5:02 Ukraine time, 6:02 Moscow time. Sorry. Did I miss anything, you guys?
Rob Lee is doing a thread I've been watching about the Russian military. Let me show you what he said. I think Rob's super smart guy, military analyst. So let's just read this first. 4 tweets. Obviously, we can only make tentative conclusions so far, but the Russian military is committing some very basic mistakes from the strategic to the tactical levels. Putin also put his military in a very bad position with unrealistic goals and without giving them much warning. It is clear many soldiers don't know what the goal of this war is, so they don't know how to respond to civilians or what sort of security posture they should take. They have been assigned tasks but don't understand the purpose, which is how you set up a military for failure. I have a feeling that Putin only told very senior officers about the invasion plan, so I would bet many of the division and army staffs didn't have time to plan things or conduct proper coordination. Of course, if you know you're going to war, you'll prepare better. And again, the Russian military has some very capable equipment, and they have some recent experience at using them effectively. They are failing to properly employ these weapons and capabilities, which is more of a coordination, preparation, and leadership issue in my view. Okay. Hang on one moment. I mentioned a few minutes ago that there was reporting in Ukrainian media of a rocket or missile hitting a residential building in Chernihiv. So Kyiv Independent is now posting the same thing. a missile struck a residential building in Chernihiv, a city about 90 miles north of Kyiv, according to the state communications service. 2 lower floors were set on fire. There is currently no information about casualties. So again, the Ukrainian government is now saying that this was a residential building hit by a missile. That's what Kyiv Independent is saying. That's what the statement is from the Ukrainian government. That was this one here we were showing you. Hope people are okay. Okay. OSIN Technical, who I follow for Ukraine stuff, says sun rising in Ukraine soon, and I don't really know what the Russians are going to attempt this morning. Movement of troops suggests they're going to try a heavier assault into Kyiv. Let me remind you, I think it's worth revisiting one more time what the Institute for the Study of War said in their daily update today. They are a think tank. I think they're smart people. And I want to remind you what they said in their update today. They said, Institute for the Study of War, remember what they said. Once it opens up, I will show you what they said. Oh, I found it. It's over here. I think it's over here. They believe that Russian forces in the last 2 days, on Saturday and Sunday, conducted an operational pause so they could bring some more supplies and resources to the front line, and also to adjust their strategy. Russian forces likely conducted an operational pause yesterday and today to deploy additional supplies and forces forward, and also rejigger their strategy. Russian forces will likely resume offensive operations against Kyiv in the next 24 hours. So they think that Russia is going to resume offensive operations against the capital, Kyiv, sometime today, sometime on the 28th, which is, I'm on the East Coast, so that's starting 2 hours from now. So just something to be aware of. OSIN Technical, though, said they think movement of troops indicates they're going to try a heavier assault into Kyiv. Ugh. That person's gone. Jay Smith is gone. I don't care. Jay Smith donated 3 times. I couldn't care less. Out. Goodbye. Just wants to post abuse. You donate, you don't donate. If you're abusive, out. Goodbye. Take your how do you say it? Your garbage money elsewhere. I don't want it. I am much happier without it. So goodbye. Done. So, so it's 5:10 a.m. Ukraine time. So we'll see the sun coming up soon. Now, yesterday there was some weird kind of weird. There were some military operations that took place early in the morning yesterday. There was a weird, looked like a couple dozen soldiers went into Kharkiv with like 10 vehicles. It was very confusing. It was like way too small a force to seriously do anything there, and I think they all. From what the government said, they got eliminated. You can see video of a bunch of the cars on fire and stuff, the vehicles on fire. So, but I just remember there was Russian military activity conducted in the morning yesterday. So just a heads up, it's 5:10 a.m. Kyiv time right now. There have been a bunch of civilian buildings hit already. There's a school. I saw a bunch of video of this today. This is Brenna Smith from the New York Times retweeted this. But there's video of a school that burned down. Mui Zhao said this is the specialized school 134 in Kharkiv that burned. And you can see here, Ukraine News Now posted this, I guess, last night. Tonight, but I think I saw this like 12 hours ago or something. In Kharkiv, a children's school burns to the ground after a Russian attack to the area. So we are seeing, I feel like the last couple of days, every day there's been a couple buildings. There were several buildings hit in various places in Ukraine yesterday. Look at that. Look at the vehicles, too. These vehicles here. I don't know who those belong to. So I'll be looking for updates about what's going on this morning as the sun starts coming up. I'm checking some of the Telegram channels as well. Take some more comments too. Got to go through some of your comments. A few viewers mentioned this to me. Like Matus Dwayne and other viewers. I guess there was a plane, Transport Canada. We are aware that Aeroflot, Russian airline Flight 111, violated the prohibition put in place earlier today on Russian flights using Canadian airspace. We are launching a review of the conduct of Aeroflot and independent air navigation service provider NavCan leading up to this violation. We do not hesitate to take appropriate enforcement action and other measures to prevent future violations. A number of countries have now closed their airspace to Russia. I guess this plane may have violated that after the closure. I'm trying to get you like a diagram of it. Joel Franco mentioned this. Joel said, he's a reporter, a journalist, independent journalist. He said Russian airline Aeroflot from Miami to Moscow crossed two restricted airspaces on its way back to Moscow. So he posted this, and I guess it crossed Canadian airspace and Greenland airspace. And it wasn't supposed to, but it did. So that appears to be what happened. Here's an update about the ruble. Remember, the ruble is supposed to really fall in value because of sanctions put on Russia by Europe and the US. Ruble plunges to record low, dollar holds firm as West bolsters Russia's sanctions. This was posted 29 minutes ago. Reuters, the ruble plunged to an all-time low on Monday. The ruble dropped as low as 119 per dollar in early trading, screaming through its previous ever low of 90 rubles per dollar. The declines came after Russia's central bank announced a slew of steps on Sunday to support domestic markets. After Western allies ratcheted up sanctions, including blocking certain banks from the SWIFT international payment system. Restrictive measures on the Bank of Russia were also imposed to prevent it from deploying its international reserves to undermine sanctions. I don't have the current number for ruble, though. We read some articles earlier about this saying that this could be a huge deal. It could cause a lot of inflation, the sanctions in Russia. And so the effects will really get kicked off today from what I've been reading. BBC had something about it too. Russian ruble plunges after new sanctions announced. Ruble has slumped by as much as 40% against the dollar. Look at this here. A run on Russian banks would see too many people trying to withdraw money. You might want to withdraw your money from the bank because if you think the value of the money is going to become lower and lower over time, then you figure, well, you might do something where you take the money out of the bank and then you try to buy foreign currency with it, or you take the money out of the bank and you just buy something else with it, like you could buy a TV or something, or an iPhone, and that'll hold its value, right? So you could buy some kind of good. If you think the paper money is going to be worth like way less in a week from now than now, you might want to just get it out of the bank and spend it and have something else, which is, the iPhone you can trade that for the same kind of things in a week. So that'd be one thing you could do with it, is spend the money, or trade it, try to exchange it for foreign currency. But if everybody thinks that way, you could have too many people going to the bank at once, and the bank doesn't have the cash to cover it. That'd be a bank run. You can see here it says a run on Russian banks would see too many people trying to withdraw money. On Friday, Russia's central bank was forced to increase the amount of money. Oh, Bitcoin. Yeah, some people say you could, exactly. As some people say, you buy crypto or gold. There's other financial assets you could buy as well. Of course, sure. You could, yeah, exactly. Fair enough. Whatever you buy. You might want to some people might want to take the money out of the bank and just spend it on something else. But anyways, you can see here it says a run on Russian banks would see too many people trying to withdraw money. On Friday, the Russian central bank was forced to increase the amount of money it supplies to ATMs after demand for cash reached the highest level since March 2020. This expert believes a bank run is already ongoing and will most likely intensify in the coming days. The military conflict will last longer than Putin expected, and a reaction of the West and the global community might be more harmful than expected too. I don't know, people in Russia, the Russian press is controlled by the media, so there might be a lot of, and they have not been talking very much about this war, and they certainly haven't been giving an honest picture of the war. So there might be people there who just have no real good sense of what's actually going on in Ukraine, and if they did, they might want to take their money out of the bank, but maybe they won't. So it's an interesting thought. I feel bad for the people whose value of their holdings is going to go way down. But don't assume that it's from what I'm hearing from the reporting. Many people in Russia don't really have a good picture about what's going on. Analysis on the first, Michelle Fleury, BBC. On the first day of trading since harsh sanctions went into effect, blah, blah, blah. Russians are already waiting in long lines, worried their bank cards may stop working from the sanctions, or that limits will be placed on the amount of cash they can withdraw. A quick thanks, Tim Meskers, Marsha Whitesnake, Marsha White Sharky, thank you. Patrick Homer, PyCon, Mitchell Cruz, also Jeff Lloyd, Bonnie Grubb, Matthew Karisny, thank you. Way too much info in Ludici as well. Sorry, you're hearing. I have the what I always. I have on my phone the live stream from Kiev, and I watch it, and I sometimes keep the sound on, but then it gets too loud. Then I turn the sound down, and every time I turn the sound down, you guys are like, "Oh, we heard like a boom or something." All right, hang on a moment. 5:23 a.m. Kiev time. Intel Doge posted this. Moscow Stock Exchange begins trading at 10 a.m. It's currently 6:23 a.m. in Moscow, just about 3.5 hours until things begin. Expected to be a brutal day for the Russians financially. Bloomberg says the ruble was 29% lower versus the dollar in offshore trading. You can see they have it here at how many to the dollar? About 117. 117 rubles per dollar, as opposed to 80 something on Friday. I think there is something to be said about this. Kai Rizdal says, absolutely this, and it's unifying the West. Nick Bilton says, one thing Putin grossly underestimated was the power of the internet. This is arguably the first war we've seen in real time take place in the age of social media, and all of those heart-wrenching images make Russia look utterly terrible. It's also just like there's like everybody has a phone now. Everybody has a video. And most people are used to just posting videos on like TikTok. You know, there's a platform that lots of people use, TikTok, or people do it on Instagram too. But people are just used to posting videos now, and a lot of people take them all the time, and everybody has the camera on their phone. So. Slick Rick says that's what I was thinking. JG says Russians did not knock out the internet. They did not. It was thought they might, but they have not. This is interesting. This is Brian Yennis, who I follow, is with Fox News. And he posted this from John Spencer, who is a chief of urban warfare studies. And he said, Kyiv must be held. Ukraine is winning. Not losing is winning. The one objective of the Russian army is to move as quickly as possible to encircle, isolate, and penetrate Kiev. More humble advice from urban warfare history studies. There should be no road to Kiev or through any city that's not blocked in some way. No road should allow free, rapid driving a single vehicle. If a road needs to be used by civilians, create a serpentine S obstacle. These can serve as checkpoints to search the infiltrators. Very interesting. Fully block any main road or bridge you already know military vehicles will come down or have already come down, he says. Block with the biggest, heaviest, strongest things you can think of: buses, dump trucks, semi-trailers, cars, flattened tires, take batteries, rocks. If you have time and digging assets, dig tank ditches and place a barrier around the densest part of the city as possible, especially any entrances that can be spared without impacting civilian needs. The goal is to add density to already urban areas. It is time to turn Kiev into a fortress. Every street, every alley, every building. It has to be hard to move and see down streets. The goal is for the enemy to not know where you are and where a bullet will come from. Force them into areas where you want them to go. One of the most powerful defense tactics is the establishment of engagement areas, kill zones, places the enemy will die. 7 simple steps. Identify all likely ways the enemy will come. Determine what the enemy will try to do. Determine where you will want to kill the enemy. Plan and integrate obstacles, slow to stop them. Decide where to hide and shoot from. Plan and integrate indirect fires to include Molotov cocktails. Practice the plan multiple times. That's a thread from John Spencer. I retweeted this tweet right here. John Spencer at SpencerGuard. It's crazy to think of civilians just thinking about this stuff in their own city, you know? Think if that's where you lived, and that's the kind of stuff you had to think about now. Hebrew Florida boy thinks that's exactly what Ukraine is doing. Mark Shell, our Facebook viewer, says all bridges should be wired to pull the plug at any time to prevent invaders' passage and maximize enemy casualties. You know, I'm guessing that might be something that's being readied. A number of Ukraine forces have already taken down a number of bridges in Ukraine. I want to say like 4 or 5 have already come down to hinder the movement of the Russians. But I don't know what preparations they will make for that kind of thing. Something else we haven't seen, and I hate to say it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see it. I don't know if we've seen it. I haven't heard about it. It's IEDs. Maybe that's something with an occupation force, or maybe those would be used in an urban area. So it's scary to think about, but you know, for vehicles, excuse me, if the longer this goes on, the more I would expect to see it at some point. Yeah, Fwin Aaron says, could anyone imagine having to defend their homeland like this? It's so frightening, the thought of it. I have no idea if I could fight at all. It's unbelievable. Iconoclasm says, horrible thought, but possible. Don't think Ukraine would use them unless they really are desperate, though. I think they are desperate right now. I think they'd do anything they had to. One of the viewers asked something about how many hours it's been. Yuger Man. It was Thursday morning. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's been about 96 hours. I think it's been about, oh no, because it was 5 a.m. It's been about like 90 hours since the invasion started. About 90 hours. We'll go a little while longer here. My schedule is especially off because we were actually up late last night because I was covering like early morning stuff that was happening in Ukraine. I haven't checked the crypto price in a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully go to bed a little earlier tonight. It's just hard. It's just hard, you know. Sometimes we just the news runs late and everything, and you know. So crypto, Bitcoin is at it's about the same as it was a day ago, 37.8. As you guys suggested, I could certainly see some people in Russia getting rid of your rubles and buying cryptocurrency. All right, hang on. Sorry, I'm just checking for some updates here. Ben Judah says he is with senior fellow at Atlantic Council. He says the ruble has already lost over 40% of its value, which exceeds the worst day of the 1998 collapse. Gleb Pavlovsky once told me the default that followed was the second founding of the state. I am certain the crash we are about to see will in many ways come to be the third. A lot of people think that there's going to be it's going to really hurt the Russian economy, these sanctions. Yeah, Dmitry Alperovich, and he is, I think, from Russia originally. He says the impact of upcoming economic collapse in Russia cannot be overstated. This is not 2014. So I don't know if he thinks there's going to be like a political uprising or something. I mean, how bad it's going to be for regular people over there. By the way, you know, we've been mentioning how the last few days we've seen some buildings hit in Ukraine. Jack Detch reports Russian military is trying to degrade morale of Ukraine's civilians and military by launching missile strikes on residential areas and civilian infrastructure, the Ukrainian military said. I don't know that this will, if anything, to me, it'll just get Ukrainian, if they do that, it'll just get Ukrainian people more mad. Russian troops fired on a passenger bus? Oh, I heard that there was some bus like evacuating that was fired on or something a couple days ago. This is censor.net from, this is a Ukrainian publication. This was posted like 2 days ago. A bus with a passenger was fired on. Anyways. Okay, I think we maybe are getting close to that time when we should consider wrapping up this stream. I think so. I think we're getting close to that time. White Light Army says, "Can you imagine Russian people uprising? I'd love to see them free in my lifetime." Right now, the thing is though, protests are really cracked down hard upon. There were protests, a bunch of protests today in Russia, and I think over 2,000 people were arrested today. But the security forces really cracked down hard on protesting. So it would have to be like a huge thing to overcome that. But who knows how people are going to be there if this keeps going on and the economy gets bad. But yeah, I'm leaning towards right now, I think I'm going to start wrapping up the stream. Because, by the way, I owe a couple quick thanks. I'll give my quick thanks in a second, but we're going to cover this more, obviously. What I'd love to be able to do is not stay up too late and then be able to start earlier tomorrow. It's better to start earlier because of the time there, but you never know what's going to happen when. But it worked. We were up late last night covering the early morning stuff in Ukraine, so it's just crazy. So we'll again, I think I'm going to be wrapping up the stream, but if I get off the air and there's huge news, I can just come back on the air. That's what happened last night. Also, I'll post on my Twitter account updates that I see. At Lookner on Twitter is where you can follow me for the updates on this and other big breaking news. At Lookner. And but subscribe to the channel, follow the channel Agenda Free TV, so you know when we are going live. Agenda Free TV, and make sure you click the notification. If you're on YouTube, click the notification and choose all notifications. All. So, anyways. I really do appreciate you joining the stream and watching, and also all the participation. And I'm sorry I didn't get to make more messages. There's so many messages I get. I try to get to them, whatever ones I can. But I really do appreciate you sending them in and writing in the chats. And a lot of you guys are very helpful during the broadcast and letting me know about things you're seeing and stuff like that. So, and interesting questions too. So thank you for your participation. And also a huge thanks to our moderators. They are all volunteers. They're amazing, and they're the reason why we can have chats. One of the chatters was posting in one of the chats tonight and just saying like it's a way better experience here than some places. I mean, if you try to do unmoderated chats, you probably won't ever want to do it again. So it's our mods that let us do this. So I can't thank them enough. Linda Belk over there on Twitter, Sarah, Danny James, Marina, Rusty G, Colgan Crafts, Lexa Fulmer, AJ, and others over there on YouTube. Facebook mods like Kay Lowry Body, Curtis Cardwell, Bud Green, Roxanne Betke, Margaret Riley, And oh, thanks Billy Joe Drage for the stars. Thank you, Billy Joe Drage. And Christina Neal. Thank you, Christina. Also, our Twitch moderators. Thank you, Twitch moderators, such as Bastion Girl, Duxor, Idaho Star, Mark and NC, Papa Bear, and Schultheis. Big thanks. Shout out, by the way, to Twitch for they fixed our issue. They did really good today, Twitch. We had an issue with Twitch. They fixed it during the stream. You can't beat that. So I got to give credit where credit is due. Twitch helped us out today. So thanks to all of our mods a bunch. Oh, Sean TV, that is extremely kind of you. Thank you, Sean TV. It's very kind of you. Very nice of you. I also thank you to Spy Kesta, Sistek, Bimby Corp, D. Jared, Martin Schill, Travis Malone, DJ John Henry, Steve Cat, Charles Goki, Tom McKay, Tim Mesker, Squidward Tentacles. Also, I owe a thank you to
Anyways, that was really weird. My camera was frozen. But, yeah. Yeah, it's been a long night. So, I also think I'm going to wrap up this stream and just relax and watch a game myself. And I see my TV's up in the bedroom and it's echoing. Lovely. Okay, I got it. Sorry about that if it echoed in the background. Anyways, but yes, good thing it's been a quiet evening. Hopefully what was said earlier on the military website is not true, where the past 2 days have just been quiet and slow. Is because they're re-upping their supplies and things are supposed to get worse. So hopefully that's not real, but hopefully things just settle down and go back to normal. That would be nice. I think everyone would agree on that, but anyways, except for the people causing the war, I guess. Anyways, enough of me. I will probably see you tomorrow. And I think I'm going to be making eventually a different Twitch channel for just the news stuff. And then this one can be for my games. But so sorry for all the people that are my friends and hanging in there. Hopefully I haven't annoyed you too much. But anyways, alright.